Back on the road, and the Wakes are heading to the West Midlands one more time, looking to follow up those back-to-back victories and finally move out of the relegation places. We are now into the business end of the season. Yep, that's one cliche. You've probably got the other cliche from the title. In recent games, the Wakes have gotten off to a fast start and then needing to dig in as the game goes on, and the trip to Coventry Sphinx probably will prove to follow a similar pattern. Lewis Darlington would continue his fine scoring form, tapping in from close range after some excellent work there from Robbie Ellis. Ellis would then get his own goal just 3 minutes later, despite the keeper's attempts to claw it back off the line. There's not much doubt that one crossed the line. Well done, line-out. Not a lot else to report on in this half until a wayward ball hits one of the GoPros. Now, this happens all the time, but thanks to our behind-the-scenes team, you'll never notice from a content perspective. Oh, you bastard! Go on, Crofty, go on. Yeah, good lad. Got there in the end. To be fair, I've been a bit harsh on Crofty by including that. He ran all of the media on his own for this whole game, and then I've included that. Into the second half, and our games really do have a similar script to them this season, don't they? That's a great strike. The post saves the day, however, moments later, Damien Kelly would get a goal back for the hosts. Now, this is one of the more bizarre penalties that I'd seen for a while. Richard Jones takes the ball to the corner, whilst keeper Will Laking comes out, well, I think he appears to slip, I'm not sure, and then the Coventry player clatters into the back of him.
The player's running, keeper took him out, you can't do that.
Did he take him out, or did he run into it?
Well, no, he took him out,
I think the Coventry fans picked up on the GoPro audio there have summed it up perfectly. Unfortunately, I've only got one angle on this decision, so I'll just keep running it back a few times. Is it a coming together? Yes. Was there an advantage gained? No. So the only thing that's for sure is that Richard Jones is probably the most confused man in Coventry right now.
Great cross, to be fair. Yeah, he put it right on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Yes! Come on!
Kelly converts, doubles his tally, and brings the Coventry Sphinx back level on the day.
In no man's land, really. People didn't know whether to call the game match.
Lakes is called into action one more time, but then the game kind of just peters out with no more clear-cut opportunities, and the points are shared.
That'd have been a great goal.
Now, it might have felt like 2 points were dropped in the West Midlands. You could say 1 point was gained, but next up, the Wakes welcomed Lichfield City to the JJ Mack Stadium. With just 9 games to go, there is no better person to talk about stats behind survival than our programme editor and data enthusiast, Sam Deakin.
With 9 games to go, including today's at Lichfield, everything is our own hands. If we can get this points today, we can go ahead of Bedworth, and then we've just got to match or beat their results. I still think some of the teams above us will hit a patch of bad form, and that could bring teams like Long Eaton, potentially even a Corby down to us. At 9 games, we've got 4 games against top 6 opposition, 2 against midfield, and then 3 against teams around us at the bottom. If we win our home games and we can win a game or 2 on the road, we could be more than safe this year. It's definitely in our own hands. Historically, 45 points is enough to be safe in this league. 34 out of 35 times, 22 teams have played. It's been safe, but this year, my prediction has always been 45 for safety, but it's now to be pushed out to maybe 48. Just of how tight it is down the bottom.
Now, avid viewers of Bourne and Raised will know the Wakes have been renowned for their fast starts this season, but it seemed neither team had read the usual script today. Lichfield took the lead from an early corner and almost doubled their lead a couple of moments later.
Ball comes across. Ball not back in again. It's bouncing around and it's been headed from close range. Keeper gets a little hand on there and then Ellis gets hurt. It's been knocked in by Fury from close range. There's about 3 or 5 efforts there eventually from the weights. And there's a good save in there as well by Lichfield from close range. But eventually Fury was in the right place to tap that one in from a couple of yards out. And Bourne Town are back in this one.
The Wakes are back on level terms, and now it will be our turn to turn the screw. Why have I written so many terms? I had the privilege of watching all this footage back multiple times, and I still don't know how he's kept that one out. This might prove to be one hell of a debut for Hayden Whitcomb. So, after all that, we are level at the break.
And you have plenty of time to watch that one. It was a little bit further out, and he looks to break quickly. Knocks a long one forward for Allen. Allen turns round. It's been dealt with briefly, but Allen's won it back. Chance for Zach Allen, bearing down. Plays with him, he takes his going in. Zach Allen beats the keeper to his left-hand side. And on the 47th minute in this game, it's almost like a mirror of the first half. A goal going in that end, on that side of the goal, the left-hand side as we look at it. And on 47 minutes, it's Bourne Town 2. Great work from Zach Allen. Lichfield City FC 1. For the visitors, should I say. Whitcomb knocks a long one forward. Off ahead of Smith, flicked off nicely. Needs to be dealt with by Milne. The player runs forward. They're appealing for a penalty. They've got a penalty. I think the player may have just been caught by Milne as he tried to get forward, and the referees give a penalty. There wasn't too much appealing there, but it's going to be a penalty for Lichfield City.
Got that wrong, Lino, didn't you?
Lichfield would then get back on level terms from the spot. However, if it wasn't for an unbelievable save from Lakes, it would have been 3-2 to the visitors. However, the visitors would then take the lead through a great strike from Jack Edwards shortly after. The Wakes would then bombard Lichfield from the 90-plus minute mark, with Ellis bringing another good save from the debutant keeper, before Hudson finding himself through, couldn't quite apply the finish, and then we were literally queuing up to get a point out of this game, but it was just one of those days where it just wasn't meant to be.
As we keep saying, we can't rely on other sides. We have to go over that white line as a group and start achieving results, because there's no doubt about it now, the games are running out. So as much as people keep saying to me, it's in your own hands, that's great, but if it's going to be in your own hands, you've got to go and win games, and you've got to take your chances. And we've had numerous chances in the first half to make sure we get away from a side that hasn't really scored that many in the last few weeks, and we've allowed them to get 3 today, which I say is massively disappointing.
Next up for the Wakes is a tough Tuesday night trip to Anstey Nomads, who currently sit second place in the league. We didn't have all the cameras available for this half, because when one of the Anstey subs was making his way to the bench, he appeared to want to turn it round. In the process, he knocked over, picked it up again, and then panicked and kind of just pointed it where he thought was about right. Not quite the right angle, but I really hope nobody scores that end, because I'd hate to not have that angle. Lewis Darlington would have an early chance for the Wakes, but then not a lot really happened for the rest of the half, if I'm honest. Anstey kept possession well, and then eventually made the breakthrough in the 35th minute. Oh, wouldn't it be great to have another angle of that? Second half was a lot like the first, not really a lot to write home about. Anstey kept the ball well, and then eventually doubled their lead on the 80th minute. Another camera would take a topple from a wayward ball, and that was about it for the game. Interesting song choice, but I'll politely decline that offer. I should have called this episode Stop Hitting the Camera, shouldn't I? It's not really a football cliche, so I don't think it'll quite work. Speaking of cliches, despite this result, it is still in our own hands. This game won't define our season, but will still remain just 1 point off safety going into the final 7 games of the season.